Order online at picassospizza.net.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Pay the Bills post-game show here, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Get your Picasso's Pizza in Western New York and anywhere nationwide at picassospizza.net. The Buffalo Bills escape Cleveland, Ohio with a 23-20 win. That would be it. We saw escape from New York, escape from LA. We need escape from Cleveland. I think that's the perfect third. No, Mo, that was
people
see his reaction. He's not.
People live that every day when they have to drive through that part northeast Ohio.
And it feels like the Bills they were feeling it when they were they were feeling that Cleveland energy today, and just a chaotic mess of football. Let's start with you, Parthy. You've had a solemn look on your face since you joined the room. I want to hear your thoughts here. How are you feeling about this effort from the Bills? Can we say effort? I'm not sure what to call what we just watched, honestly.
I would say it's a better effort than we've come to expect from the defense. Run defense notwithstanding, they actually stepped up and made some plays, especially late in the game. Especially Groot, he just turned into the Marvel superhero he's named after. I think Poyer got in on a couple of plays, which basically saved 4 points on one particular drive. A couple of guys in the receiving core were turning into stone hands out there on a couple of key drops. Brandon Cooks and Dawson Knox, to name a couple. Tackling seemed to be an issue on defense. Some key points, but what else is new? But yeah, it's a typical ugly Cleveland game. It wasn't windswept. It wasn't a snowstorm or a rainstorm. But points seem hard to come by. They scored 20 points in the first half for a change and only 3 in the second half. Kind of the flip side of what they were putting up those graphics of like -12 point differential first half and like plus, what was it, 116 by now it is in the second half for the Bills at this point. Both of those are probably going to, go down and up a little bit respectively based on how this game went. But if the Bill, I said this on Twitter, if the Bills play down to their competition, then just get in the playoffs and you won't have to worry about, taking 3-11 teams or whatever the record is, taking your foot off the gas.
Yeah, that's a great point. Mo, how are you feeling?
I mean, a win is a win. I mean, this is the team that we've known them to be the whole year. They're wildly inconsistent. They are, like Parthy said, their defensive run game is awful, and it has been since week 1, since Derrick Henry ran for 160 yards on them. That didn't happen today necessarily. I don't know what the exact stats are, but Judkins was probably on his way to at least a 100-yard game before he got hurt. It's just what they are, and we had to get like live through it. They've been bad on the road all year. And we got to kind of work through that. And I know it's Cleveland. They're 3-11, and like you said, Parthy, it wasn't any crazy weather. But they don't play good against Cleveland like ever. I mean, remember a couple years ago when it was technically the Bills' home game, but it was a neutral site. With Jake, you went to this game when it was the snowstorm. They were in Detroit, and that game was horrible. And that was a bad Browns team, and this was a good Bills team, and they won 28-24. And I mean, going back to like Josh's rookie year when they played Baker, and they lost like 17-10, and it was all field goals. How it worked out, they just don't play well against the Browns, no matter what it is. So it's not. I don't think it's anything to overreact. They are what we think they are. They are a wildly inconsistent team on the offensive side of the ball in the pass game, and on the defensive side of the ball. Well, I guess they're consistently bad in the run game, but it's just what they are.
All right. Well, do you have that clip lined up?
You said it. I have to clip.
They
play
are
it now.
who we thought they were.
There you go.
I saw
on Judkins, he was actually only 8 carries for 22 yards before he left for the game. That's only a 2.8 average.
Wow.
Really, they got gashed on the Shedeur Sanders scrambling, 4 for 49 yards. Basically, the leading rusher on the team. They also had Raheem Sanders go 11 for 42. Total of 160 yards rushing on offense for Cleveland today.
Rocket Sanders. I don't know why that was his nickname in college, but Ian Eagle must have got that memo. Never called him that.
They weren't expecting to see a healthy dose of Rocket Sanders today.
Well, I thought it was funny. He pointed out on that one play, it was Sanders to Sanders to Sanders, because it was Shedeur handed it off to him, and then TJ Sanders for the Bills made the tackle. TJ Sanders and Raheem were on South Carolina together last year. So I thought that was kind of funny.
A lot of Sanders going on.
There
Could start a law firm.
Yeah.
Back there. We talked a little bit. You guys both made great points about the defensive effort, and it was, porous at points today, but they made a couple big plays, getting the deflections on Shador, getting those timely interceptions. Greg Rousseau at the end of the game taking over. I mean, that it was I think it's a fourth string left tackle or third string left tackle he was working against there, but still to make the play, to get the sack, and then to make the play to chase down Shador and force the intentional grounding, and it's 3rd and 32 or whatever it ended up being. Yeah. Saved the day. He had a great game, and while you'd like to see him do this in bigger moments, they needed it today. They needed someone to come step up. And Jordan Poyer had a great game defensively too. He went out with an injury later on. I don't know if he came back monitor going forward. But somebody needed him to step up and make a play. What happened there with Groot? He made a play. But I want to get to this comment because it kind of goes to the next part of this conversation here. What happened to the second half offense? Sluggish, conservative, poor game calling. Too much emphasis on avoiding Garrett. No catches by any wide receiver. Downhill, drop passes, concerning. Lot going on there. A lot of concerns. Parthy,
nothing we haven't already known about the receiving core, and that A, they can't get open, and B, even when you throw in the ball, sometimes they can't even haul it in. Yeah. Knox has been having an okay year for him up until this point, but like we previously stated, he's basically overpaid for being a second tight end. We didn't really hear much from Kincaid in this game, other than the near toe tap that that didn't get reversed.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to go away from Garrett in the first half, and maybe Cleveland keyed in on that somehow with an adjustment. But yeah, I think it looks like they went away from trying to run the ball in the second half, and even when they were trying to run the ball, the latter couple of drives to run up the clock, Cook wasn't quite as effective, although he was very effective in the first half. Total, he went for 16 for 117 and a couple touchdowns, including a big 44-yarder.
That was a beautiful run. That's a run that.
He was cutting back left and right.
It was. Well, that's going to be on his highlight reel forever. I mean, that was amazing.
Jake spoiled that for me a little bit because he was ahead of me in the game, and all he just texted was, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "Well, this could be really bad or this could be good. I don't know what's going to happen right now." It was so. But no, he's basket to Knox. That's tough. I mean, that's a surefire touchdown. That was a great play design to get him open in the back of the end zone there. And I don't know. I don't know. It's a catch you need to make. You're getting paid to make this in your NFL tight end. It looked like the sun was coming in right at the wrong time, and he squeezed early because he didn't want it to hit him in the face mask and bounce away. And he just didn't have enough instinct on it to make the play on it, which is tough. And Brandon Cooks, he's had 2 catches so far in his Bills career, and then that's a bad drop, and he might be hurt. He came down on his shoulder pretty hard.
See, that's one of those injuries where I'm like, are you hurt or is your pride hurt and you just want to get off the field?
That was a rope by Josh, and that would have put them. Well, it would put them over the 50, but at least would have gotten a drive going because they had been so stagnant in the second half. I don't know, with Cook, they just focused on going up the middle. They didn't seem like they were trying to run to the outside at all, where they seemed like they had the speed to beat these guys, at least to get 5 yards and maybe more. And that was, those last couple of drives, they were just runs up the middle, just working the clock. But I don't know. It's stagnant play calling in the second half for sure. And Josh, didn't do him too many favors either. He was they eat that 3rd and 4 play to Shakir where he just airmails it.
How about scrambling back almost for a safety? And he had the presence of mind to keep the ball in the end zone by stretching it out. But still, he was trying to do too much and avoid a sack. Yeah,
rather you just take the intentional grounding. I understand you're in the pocket, but just let that ball sail, man. At least, and you have the arm. You're going to get it out of bounds. It's just, it's dumb play. And I don't.
Well, he couldn't really set. He was turning around, every which way. He was fine. Defender. He couldn't really set to throw forward.
Well, that's it. That's Josh's arm, though. He could get that out of bounds if he needed to.
Maybe he could just toss it over his shoulder like this. He has that arm strength, I guess. I don't know.
But I don't know. It's bad. That was awful. And then I thought he was. When they said he took, I know he walked to the locker room. When they said he took his shoe off, I'm like, oh, he sprained his ankle, and he's not going to be coming in for the second half of this game. If that's what it is, and then it's a foot injury. Apparently, it wasn't his ankle. So they kind of got lucky there. I don't really understand how Myles Garrett gets a half a sack on that play.
Oh, I think that was like the league wanting to be able to turn to red zone and be like, Myles Garrett's now 1 sack away getting this thing here.
Maybe they figure he got a shoelace to, help out with that.
Yeah, I don't know, but whatever.
I guess they said that Allen gave himself up, and so they
were both
gave
like
it to
what?
the
Like
two
him
guys.
and Mason Graham were both like equal distance to him, so they both
Yeah,
gonna have
but-
sacks for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but
You mentioned Brandon Cooks. In 4 games so far, he has 1
Okay.
catch on 4 targets for 13 yards. In the game he played against the Bills earlier this season, he had 3 catches on 4 targets for 22 yards. So in 4 games, he hasn't been able to match the output he had against the Bills.
it's not great.
I would suggest. I know
hear
they
from
just got him 4 games ago. Maybe they should sit him and Keon and dress Gabe.
Yeah, and it was curious to see like what receiver room looked like today, right? Because Keon and Gabe both sit. You have Hardman, you have Cooks play, and my thinking was, okay, they want to try to build the chemistry with these guys, right? Like it's this Browns game. You got the Eagles next week. You want your best 5 for that game. So see what you have with these 2 guys who haven't had a lot of time. Cooks has gotten open at times, but just 2 weeks in a row, and it's basically the same route on either side of the field. One last week to the right side, this week to the left side, where he runs a little corner and just can't make the play. And at that point, it's like there's nothing you can do. Allen's not gonna trust him when he's doing this. So that's gonna be the biggest thing of the equation out of there. Didn't really see Hardman out there much.
Yeah, he didn't even appear on the
offensively at
stat
all.
sheet.
Yeah,
No, he had the one punt. He had the 1 punt return, and then they had Shakir for the second one. Which, why is Shakir ever returning punts? He's not good at it. He doesn't ever
Oh, yeah,
make,
there he is.
it doesn't
he's a
make
punt
a play.
punt catcher. That's
That's
his
no fair
role.
catch.
In the words of our old coach Wade Phillips, he is not a punt returner. He is a punt catcher.
Then
I just think that
just call a fair catch because he doesn't do. I mean, it's what's the
hey,
point?
he got like 5 yards on that play. Come on,
that's
5
right.
yards at
Yeah.
least. Yeah, I mean 4. There we go. See today's receiver production. Shakir had 4 for 34. Shavers 1 for 21. Palmer 1 for 2.
That was a nice play by Shavers.
It was a nice play by Shavers. I think Allen's MVP candidacy is out the window with the performance today. 12 of 19, 130 yards, no scores at all. Especially after the game, even though Matt
He doesn't
Stafford
get style
lost on
points for the
Thursday.
little bloop pass to who is it, Jackson Hawes?
That was great.
It was Josh really loves that little flick pass this year. He has used it.
But
at
it
least 10
wasn't no
times.
flick, like short flick pass. It was like over the
It was down the
defense
field.
kind of.
Yeah, that was good.
It was a lob.
I mean, that sets up that short gain. So that was nice. But no,
Is Jackson Hawes?
No Bills fan should be talking about the MVP anymore. Just shut up about it. Because you know what? Who's been more valuable to this team? Honestly, not every game, but it's been James Cook. Stop underwriting how important James Cook is to this team. He's had 9 games of 100 rushing yards this season. It's the most in the NFL, and it's the second most in Bills history.
Third most. He's at like 1,500.
Well, third most yards, but I mean most games with 100 yards.
Oh yeah, okay, most with 100 yards.
Yeah,
he has the third most total yards in the season in Bills history,
which is insane. I mean, obviously he's chasing OJ, which we got to talk about. Michael Badgley wearing
just call him the cops because he's chasing OJ.
Yeah. Michael Badgley wearing 32 is a little interesting.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. I don't. Whatever. It's interesting to see.
Not great vibes.
No, and he's awful on extra points. He really is. I don't know what's wrong with this guy for him.
Well, I mean, hitting the upright means you came at least close. But
he's in the last six missed kicks before that missed kick. 1 was a field goal. 5 of them were extra points. So now his 7 last missed kicks he's had, 6 of them have been extra points. Like that's just weird.
Yeah, it is.
That is strange. Kicking is such a mental thing in general. So it who knows? Like, but and this is something that we do have to watch going forward. Prater is week to week. Badgley is gonna have to, if he's playing, he's gonna have to hit a big kick at some point, maybe next week, even against the Eagles in that game. So we'll see what happens there. The Allen part of it all, yeah, like fans do need to just calm down on the MVP thing at this point. It's not worth the discussion. I think who cares? Like at this, whatever. And he needs to be depending on what this injury status is, I'm sure they shot him up with some good stuff, got him back out there today. We'll see how he progresses through the week and everything. Who knows how much that contributed to some of those floated balls in the second half too. Depending on it, it's his right foot, so it's his plant foot back there. So I don't know. That remains to be seen. It probably isn't great, but I don't want to just blame it all on that. He just missed some guys too. I do have a question though. Is Jackson Hawes should he just be tight end 1 at this point? Because Hawes is out there. He can block for you. He's available. He's tough. I mean, Kincaid can't stay. Like I'm ready to have a conversation about what they should do with Dalton Kincaid, with him not being able to be on the field. And Dawson Knox had the great game last week, and he's had a better year than he had last year, but just been too inconsistent. And I feel like at this point, like the last couple of weeks, I kind of want to see Hawes more involved and see what he can do, because I don't know if he's a more trustworthy option, but I want to at least see what happens the last 2 weeks before we head into the playoffs with that. What were you going to say, Parthy?
I'm fine with Hawes being tight end 1 if Kincaid, gets banged up once again.
Yeah.
Or if
That's
he needs
fair.
maybe a week or two to, get back to 100%.
We got to see what his snap count was today, because it had to be
low
20-30%,
Yeah.
which even lower than his normal.
Which he is. I mean, going into this week, a lot of people thought he wasn't going to be playing. He was do not practice, and then full all of a sudden on Friday. So, I mean, it's, you never know what the case is going to be there. I don't know. I think the reason that they've all been successful in their different ways is because they're using 3 of them. And then it's because you're switching between the 3 of them. They showed that stat last week. They showed it again this week about it's like second most yards from tight ends, second most touchdowns from tight ends, second most catches in the league or whatever, because it's all just put together. They're creating an amazing tight end using the 3 of these guys. So I don't know if it's just interchangeable as the 1, 2, 3. I'm fine with that.
Do they have that many yards and catches and touchdowns from tight ends because they're that good, or because they have no choice but to turn to them when they can't find a receiver open downfield?
Well, hey, if the tight ends are getting open and you got 11 touchdowns this year from your tight ends and over 1,000 yards, I don't really care if the receivers aren't getting open, because your tight ends are getting shit done.
Well, they do need some receivers to make some plays at some point this year.
I mean, that's the thing. If you're getting that production, I mean, I'll take it for now. We're at this point of the year where you can't really make any changes to it anyways. It's week 15 or 16.
And it's crazy that they're still searching, right? Like that's why you have Cooks and Hardman playing today, because you're still searching to see what your peak can be at the wide receiver position. And they don't deliver today at all. Nobody delivers. I mean, the Palmer experience it's kind of a joke at this point, like where it's at 1 to 2 catch every game. Like he's not separating. He's not getting open enough. Like any play that they zoom out and then you watch all 22, it's been consistent since week 1. Like there's just so many plays that they want to develop down the field, and nobody is open enough for Allen to trust it. I do think that it helps a little. I think that does help contribute Partham a little bit to the tight end production, because Allen those guys are underneath. He trusts those big targets, and they've made some great plays for him too. I mean, Kincaid today should have had, like, that was as close of a toe tap catch as he could have had there, which could have been the difference between, they kick a field goal on that drive, but it could have been the difference between putting that team away and scoring, getting down into the red zone there.
Speaking of plays being reviewed by instant replay and reversed and possibly reversed, how the heck do you reverse a play where you say it's intentional grounding, no safety, to a safety, back to no safety? I mean, who's watching the watchers up there?
I don't know. And that all happened during commercial break. So it's like, honestly, we went to the commercial thinking it's intentional grounding. Then they come back and we're like, well, they changed it in the break to a safety, and then they changed it back. We don't even need to know any of that, honestly. Just say it's intentional grounding.
It was all live on social media. Some people were saying, hey, they overturned it to a safety, and then a minute later they say no, they reversed it back to a non-safety. That deserves an over-officious
Hey, you over-officious jerk!
Do you think we'll ever learn how they actually decide the replay assist process, or is it just going to be something we just have to wonder about for the rest of our lives?
Well, I mean, the former XFL, now the UFL, I guess, usually takes us behind the scenes when anybody bothers to watch that. But I guess now the NFL probably won't take us behind the scenes. But it's a good thing Jeremy White's off for the next couple of weeks, because he would be pulling his hair. He probably is already pulling his hair out over Gene's territory trying to explain this to us.
Oh yeah, he reacted, I think, live, just being like, something about the 2 replay assists coming in, and then a third replay official the replay official looking at a third view that doesn't have anything to do with the play or something like that. Jeremy does have some beef with those, and I'm with him. I don't need more replay officials on the broadcast, but to each their own, whatever it is. I just don't understand, how do you call in, buzz it, change it, and then did somebody else from the other side of the room in New York buzz it? It was like, that guy over there was wrong, I'm right, change it to this. Was it the same guy looking at it again, being like,
I'll
oh wait,
speculate
my
that's
bad.
probably the same person, and they thought they saw a view that was pretty clear as safety, and they kept looking at other views. Why would they do that after they, definitively say, okay, we're overturning it? And they say, oh no, this looks better, and we get a better view from down the sideline or whatever. And no, he wasn't in the end zone. So maybe they just pulled the trigger a little too quickly before getting all the views.
Okay, that's a very logical answer, Parthy. I like that. I wanted some more. I wanted some dissension in the ranks in the replay officials room, but that sounds good too. Some bad news. If Judkins is healthy, who knows what this game looks like? Because he was in the running game. You guys said he wasn't doing too much, but in the passing game on those underneath routes was making some plays. Had the big run that got called back on the hold too. It would have been a bigger first half for him. He dislocated his ankle and fractured his fibula, so he will be out for the rest of the season, probably into next year a little bit. So prayers up for him. Hopefully a speedy recovery for Quinshon Judkins. Yeah, an exciting rookie season for him. After some drama in the offseason, but he ended up showing up and balling out. So hopefully he gets healthy. The Browns need him. He was their best offensive player by far this year when he was playing. So
what was your guys' impression of Shedeur out there? Because he was, scrambling and making some very, Josh Allen runs when there wasn't anything there for him. But I thought he seemed fairly competent, and it took pretty much all game for the pass rush to finally get to him, as far as Groot and everybody else.
I think that with Shedeur, it was honestly a lot of the same things that were people thought would hamper him coming into the league, that hampered him in college. He holds onto the ball a little bit too long, trying to make plays happen. I think a lot of those scrambles that he made, not the scramble, the scrambling 4 yards that he made, where I've not seen him do that in his NFL career. He didn't do it a lot at Colorado, but taking those lanes, the Bills did not have a spy on him at all today. They weren't planning for him to run at all. That was awesome to see from him, just having that pocket awareness to take those yards and make those plays, something that he hasn't shown. But he has a little bit of just a problem where he wants to extend plays out a little bit too much. I was texting with some friends during the game, and they were talking about how it looked a lot like Caleb Williams last year, a lot of the pirouetting and the whirling dervish, scrambles, running backwards, trying to create some space. He's not like he's scrambling a lot to run. It looks like he's scrambling to try to get to a place where he can launch the ball. He loves to push the ball downfield. But you're right. I thought he played within the system. A lot of their success in the first half moving the ball was underneath, and it was him not pushing the ball down the field. It was him taking what was available to him, taking the easy plays, getting profit out of it. So I was impressed by that. And even, the 2 interceptions, batted balls, great plays by the Bills defenders there to get their hands up. They saw something in film this week. They were jumping almost every snap, jumping up to try to deflect his ball. So that's something to work on for him too. But I was impressed by his poise and everything he played. And then even battling through, I don't know.
Yeah,
it looked like his nail got ripped off or something like that.
I think he got stepped on and it cut it goes a deep cut out of the side. I think is what it was. But no, what you're saying. I mean, yeah, he was able to escape, but we knew this in college. He just holds on too long, and that's why he was taking so many sacks in college too. I mean, he had not a great offensive line in Colorado, but he would just hold on to the ball and run backwards. And he did that in the preseason. We saw him do that too for the Browns. He would just run like the Josh play, honestly.
We have a little bit of that experience today.
Yeah,
every once in a while.
He would just run straight backwards and then get taken down. That second interception he threw, it's a play. It's you just got to live to fight another day, man. Take the sack. You're gonna lose 5 yards, and it's gonna be. I think it was only gonna be second down. And then instead he tries to make this play happen, gets tipped up, and Daquan Jones comes down with his first interception. I don't know if you guys saw this in any level of football.
I did, yes.
College, NFL, his first career interception. So that's fun. But it's just it's something that that's just part of who he is, and it's got to just work on not doing that as a quarterback going forward. And the first pick is bad too. I mean, Judkins, it hits him, but it's pretty behind him. If you lead him on that play, it's not an interception. So it's, I don't know, just a couple like mental errors, and that's like something that happens to every quarterback. Sometimes ball comes out of your hand weird, and and it's behind the guy, and then it just happens to be a weird shaped ball in this game, and it can go any direction, and happens to go just perfectly up for Jordan Poyer to make a play. So
The ball is not round.
ball is not round.
There's one thing you got to remember. Ball's not round. Parthy, let's start with you here because this comment segues into the next topic I want to talk about here as we move on. Now this is, I mean, Dominic, he's right. He is right about this. There's more chance of Elvis being alive than this team winning 3 straight road playoff games. I mean, maybe he's just wrong about Elvis. We see Bills Elvis. Does that count? He's out there. He'll be at the games. But I want to talk about, as we shift this game, well, I want to flush it away. Like it was a bad performance from the Bills, and they escaped against an inferior team that should, like, if they played a better team today, they probably get waxed. Does this game though change what your thoughts? Well, and it depends on what your thoughts were going into this game on how well you think they can do in the playoffs. But did this change anything about what you think of this Bills team going into the playoff run right now? Do you think that this is just hopefully their last, bad performance of the year before they start getting into shape? Is it kind of just been par for the course? What do you feel now as we have 2 weeks left in the regular confidence?
Well, I would say last week gave me a little bit more confidence than this week as far as their ability to win on the road. But if they're not, as long as they're not going to play down to their competition, I'm not overly concerned. But then again, recent history, the Bills don't have exactly a good record of winning on the road. But albeit pretty much all of those games in recent memory have been Chiefs games at Arrowhead. I think the last time they went on the road for a playoff game must have been the Texans in 2019, which, of course, they're going to be in the mix in the playoffs, whether that'll be in the wild card round or possibly the divisional round, depending on how things shake out. They make me nervous as far as the matchup is concerned. I don't really see any other. I mean, Denver could be better than what people give them credit for. They're going up against Jacksonville right now. We'll see how that shakes out. Pittsburgh, obviously, they've shown they can beat them on the road as long as, Pittsburgh doesn't wise up and actually make adjustments. Mike Tomlin. The Chargers can, they're a little too inconsistent, but I do fear their passing offense. It's a hit or miss as far as, matchups are concerned here. And I don't like the idea of them going on the road for one playoff game, let alone 3 straight.
Which, it's possible that it has to be 3 straight. It also might not be. It depends. I mean, there's upsets that happen every year in the playoffs. So if they're the 5 seed and they have to go to Pittsburgh again, which we just saw them 3 weeks ago win in Pittsburgh, and then who knows? Say if the 3 seed is who? The Chargers. They get upset, or no, the Chargers couldn't be the 3 because the Broncos.
Jags.
The Jags could easily get upset by whoever they're playing. And by the Texans or whatever. And it's like it could work out that they could still end up, even if they don't win the division, with a home playoff game, because the way that these wildcard teams are and how good they are. So it's highly possible they could still finagle something where it works out in their path. It's not likely, but it still is there. They also could still just win the division. I don't think these Patriots are this infallible team that I know that the next 2 weeks after this Ravens game, which doesn't matter as much, but it's the Brady Cook-led Jets and the Quinn Ewers-led Dolphins.
Yeah, I was hoping for more from Quinn Ewers today, but
yeah, he started out hot. He was 10 or 12 for 119 at one point. But listen, by week 18, who knows what he's going to look like? To be honest, he's got another. It's all out there. But I don't know. Jake, we talked about this, that if the road to the playoffs and if it's AFC Championship game in Denver, they're winning that game. Well, I'm not worried about
so Parthy, we did unlock something here when we were talking about this the other day. If they have to go to Denver, so this is from my experience of living in the great state of Wyoming before. Wyoming before Josh Allen was Broncos country. Like all Broncos fans, that's the games that were on local TV.
So you're thinking converted Wyoming fans are going to make the trip down and make it a Bills Mafia invasion?
I think we got a border war now. I think we got the state
Oh.
of Josh Allen versus the state of Colorado, and that would go in the Bills' favor. Yeah, I think there'd be a lot of fans who would want to buy tickets up to that game and make the easy trip to go see Josh Allen in a playoff atmosphere. So I think that uniquely enough, that road there could benefit at least from like a home field advantage perspective, because the Broncos are very good at home, but the Bills travel well, but they also have a built-in fan base just 3-4 hours away for a quick, easy drive in Wyoming, which it's real. It's a real thing there. Like they get all the games every week. There's a lot of fans there. There's probably a lot of fans who are both Broncos and Bills fans, like follow both teams now too. But it was a fervent Browns fan base when I was there, and now it's clearly Wyoming is split a little bit with their allegiance because of Josh Allen. I think that's just an interesting subplot at the very least to that potential matchup in the playoffs.
Is Laramie known for its thin atmosphere? Not nearly as thin as the Mile High City, but
no, it's higher. It's higher altitude.
Oh, really?
It's higher altitude
Yeah.
than Denver. That's the thing that people were talking about. Oh, is Josh gonna be able to play in Denver? This was back in COVID. I remember when they had that game there. It's higher elevation. So it's not something. It's not something that he personally would have to worry about. I mean, you got other guys on the team, obviously. Like I don't think James Cook's ever played in like that high elevation for anything. Or I'll be like you got Kincaid played at Utah all those years. He definitely would be used to that. So that's not a big thing to him. But it's interesting to look at, and it's like Jake said, it's all those fans that will be coming for that game. If that's the pathway they have to go, where they have to go to Denver, that is honestly the best case scenario. I don't want them to have to go to fucking play the Texans again. That would be terrible.
Yeah, and the Texans.
I'm just trying to see how it works out. That because the Texans are currently sitting in 7th seed place, and Jacksonville's of course playing Denver as we speak, and they're a 10-4 game ahead. Not sure how
if the
tiebreakers
Jags
work out here.
lose this game, I did it on the playoff machine earlier this week, Parthy. If the Jags lose and the Texans win, they take over first place in the South. So that
they would be a 3 seed, and the Bills are
Yes.
currently sitting at the 6th seed. So that lines right up for them to play each other in the first round.
Yeah.
Yes,
in
it does. Yes, it does. Listen, if you're a person that believes in destiny and believes in all these different things, having to go back to Houston to win a
supposedly,
Super Bowl.
I mean, once McDermott gets a good look at a team with a specific coach, he can make the adjustments the second time around. But I don't know. That defense looks way too good, and the Bills don't have, with the exception of James Cook, they don't seem to have enough firepower to counter their pass rush.
But also, you got to look at it with this too: is that in that game, Deion gets a concussion and Spencer Brown gets hurt. I mean, that's like, what are the odds that they're going to both get hurt again? Both your starting tackles are going to be playing injured in that game. Deion, when he shouldn't have been in at all, and Spencer Brown trying to tough it out until they eventually pulled him. They were able to actually get a little bit of ball movement going on. So, I mean, if that's obviously, I don't want to go and play Texas again. That defense is fucking terrifying. But I'm still also living in the world. I think the Bills could just win the division. So just win out. Patriots may lose a game. Drake May's we talked about it last week, Jake. I've never seen Drake May win an important game in his life. And I watched a lot of him play at UNC because I liked Drake May at UNC, and he was never the guy. And I still don't. He is Drake maybe while he's still in the league. It's still at this point of the league.
What a cursed name to have.
Yeah,
for a guy who's yet to prove himself.
Yeah. People can make the argument. Oh, he beat the Bills in Sunday Night Football earlier this season. It's like, yeah, did he really show out and prove that he was the best quarterback in that game? No. And then the Bills had 3 turnovers in that game. And they won by 3. I understand 35-31 this last week. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because Drake May wasn't the best player in that game for his team either. Travion Henderson was. So I'm not worried about Drake May. If down this stretch where he's gonna go off. He fucking probably won't. I can see him losing to the Dolphins. I can see him losing to the Jets. Those teams got nothing to play for except to spoil the Patriots, and they would love to do that after the last 25 years of their franchise history.
Well, and that's the intrigue of this game tonight, right? Like, you got Sunday Night Football against a Ravens team who is playing for their playoff lives, and can the Patriots, like, if you are who you want to be, like, you bounce back from that loss against Buffalo, you make a statement tonight, and you handle a team that you're probably better than, even though they're desperate. So that's gonna be a really interesting spot to see. what happens. I'm with you. I think the division, the game's got to be played. Division's still up there as long as the Patriots got those games against, like you said, 2 division rivals. You never know. Also, next week, going back to the Texans part, next Saturday is Texans Chargers in a huge game with a lot of AFC stakes going on there. And honestly, depending on what happens with this Jags Broncos game, if the Broncos lose, huge stakes for the 1 seed and the AFC West and everything else there too. So still a lot to be decided. I don't even know. Like, I think the only team still clinched at this point is the Denver Broncos in the AFC, which is crazy to think about as we're heading into week 17 and 6 playoff spots are still technically available.
Bills can clinch this weekend, though. If the Texans lose to the Raiders, which I don't know what the score of that game is right now, but
they
obviously
are up 7-0 at the moment.
Okay, so highly improbable that would happen. But if the Texans would lose, or if the Colts lose tomorrow against the 49ers, which is definitely possible, then the Bills will clinch. So, I mean, obviously you shoot for the division, but if they're going to be able to clinch this week, that's nice. It's not a bad thing.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, the AFC race.
That's week 18. Is that going to get flexed to 425? You think?
They probably will. They'll flex both the Bills and
at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, they'll do it at the same time because they don't want. Yeah, because they don't want, like, if the Patriots were to win, they don't want the Bills to just sit everybody for the game. They do it at the same time. Maybe it'll be at 1, maybe it'll be at 4:25, but they'll be at the same time. That's what I think we're gonna. And next week's a tough test. Don't get me wrong. That's a nasty defense coming in to town. It's an offense with the Eagles who's starting to figure some things out. Jalen Hurts has looked more confident the last couple of weeks. AJ Brown's getting more involved. The offensive line's getting healthier. The thing with the game next week is that the Eagles really don't have anything to play for. They clinched the division last night. They're going to either be the 2 or 3 seed, basically, no matter what. So do the Eagles really care about this game, or are they going to try to rest some guys and stay healthy heading into the playoffs? Advantage Bills for sure, because the Bills are going to be a desperate team, and just the Bills at home. I mean, that's the one thing, Parthy, we haven't talked about a lot today with this, and that with the 3 road games that Dominic mentions, is that the Bills at home and the Bills on the road just seem like they're a completely different team this year.
Yeah. And let's mention now that it's looking more and more likely that there's still a chance, of course, they win the division, but we're now on the last stretch of the last 2 home games, regular season home games, and possibly the last home games at the currently named Highmark Stadium.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that's the thing. If they don't have a chance, I mean, it's a chance to win the division, or it's just obviously, just gonna be the last game. If they don't win the division, how much are those tickets gonna be for that Jets game?
But if it's like you say, Jake, where they would flex the Bills and Patriots game simultaneously for the last week, then we could go into that game not knowing if it's going to be the last game or not.
Yeah,
that'd be weird.
That would be really weird. There's shaping up to be a lot of stakes week 18 among a lot of these games. Like, there's gonna be a lot of divisions that need to be decided, a lot of playoff spots to be decided. That now with Carolina winning today, I'm pretty sure it's like unless the Bucks, if the Bucks win this week, it's a win and in for the NFC South week 18. No matter what, we're shaping it for an AFC North win and in situation. If the Ravens are able to win tonight, it could be 49ers Seahawks win and you're the 1 seed week 18 for the NFC West potentially. There's a lot. So it could be, depending on what happens with the Lions here, it could be a win and in situation for the NFC North, or to win the NFC North and see what happens there. There's still a lot undecided. I really haven't seen a season like this where everything is so in flux heading into the last couple weeks. Usually we have some things buttoned up, but that speaks to the pair. That's the one optimistic thing I can say about the Bills and everything else, is that there's nobody week to week, unless you say Denver, you can trust them. There's nobody you can trust. All these teams are flawed. Everybody has shown fatal flaws at some point during this year. Even the Rams. No one, you can't said the Rams are the best team in football all year. I still think that, but their defense was just collapsed in the fourth quarter against Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. In the Seahawks, they can't run the ball. They can't do anything. They get exposed.
Sam Darnold is so anytime like a big game is on the line, he plays like he's like rookie year Sam Darnold again, where he just like is so lost.
Yeah, I mean, so those are the two of the best teams in the league, and they both showed some really haphazard stuff this week already. Mind you, on a Thursday night. And the AFC is just the same thing. Like, we just don't know what we're going to get out of Denver or New England in the playoffs, and that keeps the field wide open. So I don't know. Like, to go back to the original question, what we started here with, like, does this change anything? It doesn't change anything for me about what I think about the Bills. I've thought they were an extremely flawed team all year, that their floor is so low, but their ceiling is so high that really any result every week is possible. And that's what leads to a game like today, where you're just, I mean, that was the ugliest football game I've watched all year, I think, in the NFL. Like, both those teams, neither team deserved to win that game. Like, the Browns were in that game, but they didn't deserve to win that game. Like, they were handing the ball back over to the Bill. It was just a mess of a football game, but happy to escape with a win. Last couple minutes here, Parthy, how you feeling? What are you looking for the next couple weeks? And what are your last thoughts here on the game against the Browns?
I'm looking for a more consistent offense over the last couple of weeks. We didn't really glean much from this game as far as the Bills' capability, and more importantly, their standing in the playoff seeding, divisional seeding, whether they can win the division or not. So it's basically just a win and stay alive, and let's see what happens against Philly.
Yeah,
I like that, Mo.
Yeah, I mean, more consistency ideal. I mean, last 2 weeks before this game, we kind of saw they were able to put up over like 30 points a game. Slow start against the Patriots, but then they were able to completely turn it on. I don't know. They were like an inverse of what they've been all year, where they've been like the best second half team in the NFL, and then today they just put up 3 points. So I don't. It's kind of a crazy thing that week 16 they're still kind of like trying to find their identity as a football team. But I mean, it's whatever at this point. They are inconsistent, but they've won 11 games this year. And if inconsistency can get you 11 games this year and a hair's breadth away from still winning your division, I'll take it. So
that's the peaks and valleys of it all. Like, we've seen how good this team can look, and you're like, that makes you open to all possibilities. But they can also be like, I wouldn't be surprised if they have to play, I don't know, Jacksonville wild card weekend and lose like 38-20 or something. Like, that's them's are the breaks. Like, they if they run into the wrong matchup on the wrong day and show up like this, things could go wrong. But we've seen what they look like when everything's clicking, and it makes you believe. I just think it's funny because I think I personally think the three of us we're all a little concerned, but like, you got the win, so it's just like, okay, let's just keep it moving. Like this, you beat the Browns, we're going on. Everything's still in front of us, XYZ. But if this was a couple other plays go different and they lose, like just 1-2 plays go different, the Bills could lose this game, and a lot of the things are still the same from this game, and it would be DEFCON 1 across all of Bills Mafia. So it's just a game of inches, man. Like, I think I don't feel good about this, but I hope they can flush it away, and I hope that it's a performance that, just get it out of your system before the playoffs. A big teachable moments this week. Coaches, lot to fix, lot to go in and try to handle, get it shored up. You got one of the biggest games of your season. We've known it was going to be, since it was put on the schedule, we knew this Eagles game was going to be one of the biggest games of the season in the NFL. And it's not as big a stakes for the Eagles, but huge stakes for the Bills next week at home. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. One thing
I can't wait to see it.
That Eagles last night clinching the division. See, it's first time that's been back-to-back winners in the NFC East,
right?
2005 or whatever. It's insane. 2004.
It's absurd.
It is. That's parity. The league wants parity. That division has been parity for a long time. It's kind of crazy. But
the underrated storyline next week to Nick Sirianni, Western New York boy, coming back to coach in Buffalo for the first time ever. That'll be all over the broadcast, I'm sure, at some point. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun week. But that'll do it for the Pay the Bills post-game show presented by Picasso's Pizza. Get your Picasso's Pizza in Western New York and anywhere nationwide at picassospizza.net. Happy holidays, everybody. Celebrate with loved ones this week. Have a great time. I don't know about you guys. out there. Here in Chicago, it's supposed to be like 55 on Christmas Day. So it's not going to be a white Christmas at all, but still going to
believe
enjoy the holidays.
It's supposed to be warm this way as well, I believe.
All right.
We'll be in the
low
30s
40.
over here.
Yeah, 30s, 40. Yeah.
Well, it's still a little seasonably warm for Christmas Day, but enjoy the holidays. Enjoy the time with your loved ones, and we'll be back on Tuesday for the full podcast, and then next week after the Eagles game, big game coming up this week, and we'll be locked all week. Stay tuned to Trainwreck Sports. Stay tuned to Pay the Bills. We pay the bills, and go Bills.
Go Bills.
Let's go Bills.
It's taken as long as it's ever taken to end the stream right now.
What does it say?
Oh, it said no, you can't end the stream. Come on.
Okay.